You've probably seen Pastor Jeff and Marilee Allen in passing, and you might have even wondered, who are they? How did they end up at Arise? What is their story? How did they get saved? Well, today we're going to answer all of those kind of questions on Creating the Future. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to this edition of Creating the Future with me, Dr. Brent Simpson. And today we are starting a fun summer series where we are going to interview our pastors at Arise Church and get to know them. This is going to be especially beneficial if you are part of Arise Church. You're going to love this as you get to know your leadership. But even if you're not, you're going to hear a lot of great testimonies of people's salvation experience and call in the ministry and things like that. And so throughout this summer, we are going to be taking time to interview our pastors. And we are starting with some of the very best, Pastor Jeff and Marilee Allen. Pastor Jeff serves as our Brandon location pastor. Pastor Marilee serves as our kids pastor here at the Brandon location as well. So they get to work together as they do ministry. And we're just going to start right off the bat. Let's have a fun question. So your dream vacation, what would it be? And this is where we might need marriage counseling because I don't know if it's going to be the same or not.
It probably won't be.
But first of all, welcome. But what would your dream vacation be?
For me, it's to take the whole family to Japan. So my dad was born in Kyoto.
Right.
And so my youngest daughter and I got a chance to go a couple of years ago, but I'd love to take the whole family.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I would love to go to Europe. So yes, it's different from his answer. I love historical period dramas. So Jane Austen. So going to castles and visiting the countryside, and I love history as well. I mean, Japan has history too, but I love history. Any place I go, I love to know what the history is all about.
Yeah, Europe is so cool. There's castles like in every little town.
Yeah.
And it's just normal.
I just want to
some
have
bigger, some
tea
smaller, but
in a castle, you know. It's so girly, but true.
And Jeff wants to go fight with samurais.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, tell us about, just catch everybody else in the church up with, what was your childhood like? Where did you grow up? What was it like? Who were you when you were little Pastor Marilee and little Pastor Jeff?
Many versions.
Well, for me, I grew up in, most of my formative years was in Maine, so from 4 to 14. Okay. So there, the trees far outnumbered the people.
You don't even have like the accent or anything.
I do not.
Like
no.
Bahaba, you know?
I managed to stay away from it. Right. But one of the things that I grew up with was pretty much that self-sufficiency was a badge of honor there. So, and you learned it quick. Yeah. So I learned how to run a chainsaw and swing an axe far before driving.
Right. Okay.
Very manly.
Right.
Very manly answer.
Yeah.
So I was born in California, moved to Maryland when I was 8 years old because my parents wanted to plant a church in Maryland. And in Maryland, it was a beautiful childhood. I got to hang out on dairy farms, pig farms, and feed animals with my friends, but also my dad worked in Washington, D.C. and was a
president?
No, he was not the president. He didn't meet a president, but he was a lobbyist for Christian schools. Oh, yeah. So I got the opportunity to ride the metro, go to DC. So very diverse childhood, but grew up in the church, loving the church, loved my youth group, loved that.
I love that. All right, so that's a great segue. So I'm assuming you guys have met Jesus and you're Jesus followers now because you are pastors at Arise Church.
Yes, sir.
So can you tell us, how and when did you guys give your life to Christ and start following him?
So my initial salvation, I would say, is the prayer. I was watching a cartoon when I think it was like 5 or 6.
Wow.
And in the cartoon, I don't even remember what the cartoon was, but the guy got dragged into like hell or something.
Oh.
It scared me so bad
that
I went and talked to my dad, and my dad presented the gospel message to me, and right there I said the prayer. Yeah. It wasn't until much later, though, until I was about 18, that I actually began to live for the Lord.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah. But your dad was a pastor. Was he a pastor then?
He was, yeah. He was a pastor then, and I grew up in the church. But growing up in the church doesn't make you a Christian, right? Right. Yeah, but when you asked your dad about salvation, it wasn't like that was foreign. No, it was not. No. And he would say that it was a definite privilege for him.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right, Pastor Marilee?
So when I was 6 years old, I was in Sunday school, and my Sunday school teacher asked me and our class if we wanted to ask Jesus into our life, and I was like, I want Jesus, and my heart was pounding really fast, and I said the sinner's prayer, and so that was really cool. Told my parents about it. But at the age of 16, I rededicated my life to Christ. Went up to my youth pastor and said, I want to make sure that I'm living for Jesus and that I'm following him, and I just gave it all to Jesus in that moment.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool. I love how both of your stories are similar. I wonder, maybe this will come up in a minute, but did that have an effect on you guys? Because both of you did kids ministry for a long time.
Yes.
So it might have had an effect
Yes,
there.
it greatly
Definitely.
impacted us. We both understood how we were impacted by Jesus at a very early age. Therefore, kids can encounter Jesus at an early age.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so one of the questions I get pretty frequently from people is like how are you called into ministry? And it's always funny because people will ask this, and a lot of times they're not Christian people or from a Christian background, and so they're like, how did you start doing what you do? And it's like, oh, well, there's this thing called a ministry call, and it's not like we just chose to do this. God called us. It's not a secular, work like that. So, what was your call to ministry like? How old were you? How did it look? When was it? What did it look like for each of you?
So for me, I went to a middle school camp, and there was a speaker that talked about going into all the world and preaching the gospel. And I could not sit still through that whole sermon.
I love it.
Like, I just knew that the Holy Spirit was all over me. Yes, my parents are pastors, so it's stereotypical that, but I knew in my heart of hearts that the Lord was talking to me and that I was encountering him, and he was saying, you are to go. And so I went up to the altar. He said, who's feeling led into ministry? And I went up to the altar, and I remember just encountering his presence and knowing that I knew that's what I was supposed to do. And honestly, went home, told my mom, and she was getting ready to be like, oh, that's so sweet, and like patronize me. And God said to her, do not touch my anointed. Wow. And so she was like, whoa. And she knew from then on that it was legit calling. It wasn't just because my parents were doing it. And so she was like dedicated to making sure I got to Bible college and did what I needed to do. But also, I ended up with my own telephone line in my bedroom because I was coordinating all the youth events because we didn't have a youth pastor. So I immediately became the event coordinator and started praying with people on the phone and caring for people.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just curious, because you said going to your mom like that, were your parents because your dad's a Christian lobbyist, that's a very unique position.
He's also a pastor.
Were they pastors, were in ministry,
Yes.
Officially?
So I said earlier that we planted a church in Maryland.
Okay.
So my mom and dad are both ordained pastors, and they both totally believe in ministry. But my dad's job, where he got paid, was with Association of Christian Schools International, and he lobbied for Christian schools.
Yeah.
So the church plant couldn't sustain. Do you know what I mean? But they were all in favor of me being in ministry, and all in favor of doing whatever I needed to do to fulfill that calling.
Yeah.
So such support. I love them.
So good.
They still pray for me today. Yes.
Well, that never stops, I hope.
Yeah.
All right, Pastor Jeff, what was your call?
For me, so I did not know what to do after high school. And so my dad being a pastor, I think he knew prophetically kind of what God had for me. And so he asked me to attend a Bible college for a single year. And he said, if you attend college for a single year, after that, you can do whatever you want. 2 weeks into that year, so I did go, and 2 weeks into that year, I went to what was billed as a coffee worship night. So in a guy's apartment, and in that moment, so there was such a powerful move of the Holy Spirit that I actually got filled with the Holy Spirit that night. Awesome. Recognized God's love for really the first time.
Right.
So in my life, and as I was walking away from that, I literally said, if this is what it's like to be filled with the Holy Spirit, he can fill me anytime.
Yeah.
And as my roommate and I got back to our dorm room, we were just speaking in tongues and praying. And I began praying for him. And next thing you know, in our dorm room, he got slain in the Spirit. Wow. And then there were guys, our door happened to be open to our dorm room, and there were some guys that were walking down the hallway. And I began praying for them. So from across the room, and they were falling out. So in the hallway, slain in the Spirit. And so it was a pretty crazy call to ministry, and the Lord afterwards said, "This is what you're supposed to do."
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, were you guys at the same college?
Yes.
We were.
Okay, and that's where you met.
Yes.
Yep.
What college?
Life Bible College.
Life Bible
Yeah.
College. Where is that?
That was in Christiansburg, Virginia.
Christiansburg.
Yep.
Well, that just
Christiansburg.
Isn't
sounds
that crazy?
Like it should have a Bible college in
Right.
Christiansburg. Christiansburg, Virginia. Where in Virginia is that?
Near Virginia Tech, near Blacksburg.
Yep.
Okay.
It
Virginia Tech.
is southwest.
Okay.
Southwest.
Okay. All right. So, how long have you guys been in ministry now together? Like,
25 plus years.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, over 25 years.
Yep.
What is one moment for each of you that you just remember? You look back on, and you're like, man, this is why I do ministry, right?
This is
It's
tough.
such a tough question.
I know. There's so many, right?
It's like picking your favorite child. Like it's
Right,
very hard to dwindle it down to one.
Yeah.
Right? We were
Yeah.
talking about that this morning and just trying to figure out what that one is. And I'm blanking at the moment. Sorry. I had it and then I lost it.
So I think what we came up with is, I can say a couple real fast. So one was, I actually had an opportunity to work with the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. We were doing a crusade in Pittsburgh, and Carrie Job was there. And during the altar call, the actual salvation call, Carrie Job kicked into, she started singing Revelation song. And the entire stadium there was a holy move of God.
Yeah.
To even in the corridors, everyone stopped.
Yeah.
And that was such a powerful moment. Other time was, preaching the gospel in front of 1,000 kids at a sports camp.
Yeah.
So another time would be a kid that I got a chance. His dad was very abusive to him, and I got a chance to every time he messed up to say that I still loved him, which was really powerful. And after about 6 months, he finally turned to me and said, "I love you too,
Wow.
Pastor Jeff." And then finally, one that's kind of funny. So it was just. I was working on a plow truck, so for a kids Christian camp, and I could not get the thing started. And I began to just recite every single miracle I could ever think of. And I said, "Surely, if you can do that, God, you can start this stinking truck." And it fired right up.
Wow. Wow. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Okay, so I remember. So basically, anytime a child comes to me and said, "I heard the voice of the Lord," I heard him say, "I love you," it makes me so excited because I know that mission accomplished. I've connected them to Jesus, and now they can hear the voice of the Lord. And I know that it's not about me being the superstar, but them having a true relationship with Jesus. So that's every time, and it's not every Sunday. I wish it was every Sunday, but every time a child's like, "I heard his voice, and he said this to me," and I confirm, yes, that's biblical, then I'm super excited about it. But also, a year ago, I got the opportunity to go to Costa Rica, and that was super amazing. And we were in a minister's home, and we were just praying over them, and we were worshiping, and we were singing, and I got a vision of Jesus stooping down in the doorway and walking into the room. And he walked up to the couple and hugged them and said, "You're my friends."
Wow.
And so I was able, through the translator, to say, "This is a vision I got from the Lord." And this burly man just broke out in tears and started bawling, and he put his head on my shoulder and he was like, "I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy." And all I could say is, we're all not worthy. It's because of Jesus. And in that moment, the power of God was so strong that it forever marked me. And then also just sitting next to the bed of someone who is terminally ill and seeing them transition from this life to earth to heaven, and us surrounding that man of God and just singing over him and praying over him and watching how he just finished well to the end, and how he peacefully entered heaven. That will forever mark me, forever.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it's so important to have those moments because ministry can be tough. It can be hard.
Yeah.
And so you have to have those moments you can look back on and go, "This is good.
sure.
This right here was good." And
sure.
not everything always feels good.
Right.
But this right here was good. So
Right.
that leads right into what's been the most surprising thing since you went into ministry? Compared to your expectations, which is always funny coming out of Bible college, to real world doing ministry, what's most surprising?
I think it's very complex. I didn't realize how multifaceted it would be and how complex it is, whether it's spiritually or emotionally. It's very complex, and that it is genuinely a faith walk. I think many times we think God's going to give us this big vision and you just execute A, B, C, D. No. Like he is very much like, I'm going to show you just enough to take the first step, and then you're going to continue to walk by faith, not by sight. And I think many times we're like, oh, it's going to be a glorious experience every day. Like that Costa Rica experience. It's going to be that every day. No, it's not.
Wish it was, but realistically, yeah.
True. I think for me, the thing that's most surprising is where we've been able to go and the things that we've been able to do. I think I had an expectation that it would be a little boring or monotonous, and it hasn't been like that at all. It's been a crazy adventure, and some of the places I've been able to go and some of the things that we've been able to do has been simply amazing.
Awesome.
That's good.
Yeah. That's so good. All right, I'm going to go off script a little bit because I should have warned you about this, but y'all can answer this. So I didn't ask you guys anything about how you met, how you got married, how did your love relationship go. So real fast, quick snippet of it. You guys met in college?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so how did that go? What was that like? How did y'all meet? How did y'all fall in love? I assume you're in love, right?
Right, totally
At
in
least at one
love.
point you were.
This
27 years.
actually this Thursday or the 29th, it will be 27 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
So this week, yes. How did we fall in love? Well, I got to Bible college and I called home and said, there's no guys here. There's nobody. I thought it would be the mecca of finding a husband, and
It's supposed to be ring by spring, right?
Right, exactly.
That's the Bible college mantra.
Yeah.
Little did I know that this guy was watching me and had eyes on me, but I didn't realize that. And so at first I was like, he's really nice, he's really cute, like whatever. And we started off just being friends type thing, right?
We spent a lot of time together, a lot of time in the library together. I got better grades that year than probably any other.
I love the library.
Okay.
I'm all
So now
about
Jeff
the
loves the library
Yeah.
because you love the library. Gotcha.
It was quiet, and I'm a social girl, so I knew that in order for me to get good grades, I had to go where nobody was talking. Because if I was in the dorm, I was totally distracted. So yeah, I was like, man, this guy kept popping up in the library. And so we would start talking and hanging out. And at one point I had a headache, and he was like, I know what can cure your headache. And he said, a cherry limeade from Sonic. So we ended up going to Sonic, never had been to Sonic in my life. And we started talking more, and then from there the rest was history, right?
Yeah.
Cherry limeades are
we
not.
like-
Did it work?
We like to call
Yes, it totally worked.
we call it a friendship set on fire.
That's awesome.
So we were
Friendship
friends.
set on fire. I don't know who's watching this. That's good right there. That's gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't always meet your wife in the club. You meet her at the library.
Right?
The good ones.
The good ones. Yeah. So it was good. It was slow and easy because at the Bible college they wanted us all to take it nice and slow.
Yeah.
So they were very encouraging of that. And and what was cool was our parents knew each other because of our denomination.
Okay.
So they all knew each other, and that was really cool. And actually, my grandparents were the pastors of the church in Maine that he referred to.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Wow.
We found all this out long after we
Right,
met and were
right.
dating and stuff. Yeah.
Right. And which denomination?
Foursquare.
Foursquare. Okay.
Yes.
Very good. All right. So now we got all these years later, 25 years in ministry, 27 years together. You end up here at Arise. How did you end up at Arise?
That is the question, right? So we moved down to Florida 11 years ago, and we started off at the Crossing Church, and we were there for about 6 years. And then we stepped down from our positions there, and I was unemployed for about a year. And we retiled our whole house during that process, and the Lord really
Retiled?
retiled.
Okay.
Yes.
New flooring.
I heard titled. I'm like,
Sorry.
Ceramic flooring.
Yeah.
In that season, it was like a remodel season inwardly and outwardly, maybe is a good way to put it. And John and Linda started coming to church here, and they let us know that you guys.
Who was John and Linda?
John and Linda,
My
sorry,
parents.
my
Right.
in-laws. My in-laws started coming to church here, and they were like, it's a great church. And so we started attending, and we heard that you guys were looking for a children's pastor. And I really felt like the Lord was like, you need to put in your resume. And I was like, well, you're going to have to help me through this because I don't know. Because we were really tired at that point and nervous, a lot of church hurt type stuff. And so I was like, Lord, if this is you, you make it happen. So it was really an act of faith, putting my resume out there, answering questions, meeting everybody. And in the end, I was hired on here at Arise, and it's been a beautiful process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going on 5 years.
Well, so 4 years. We just celebrated 4 years.
You're a little over 4 years.
4 years. And it was crazy. It happened in a blink because I feel like it was just yesterday. But a lot of growth and a lot of healing.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope you are enjoying today's show, but let me take a quick time out to remind you to like and subscribe. It helps us get this content out to so many more people, as well as do me a favor and leave a comment. I always enjoy reading your comments every single week. Now, let's jump right back into this great conversation. Yeah, and we don't need a lot of details about all that, but you guys were obviously very broken. There was a whole lot of church hurt even when we interviewed you and then Jeff coming to the church and stuff later. I'll never forget the interview. Part of the interview, we went to Longhorn and we were talking about the church or something. I don't even know what we're talking about. And Jeff said, he looked at me and said, I don't believe you. And I'm like, and I said, I don't care if you believe me.
It's true.
I'm not trying to prove myself to you. I'm going to be who we are and who I am, and our church is going to be who we are. And I'm not trying to convince you we're something we're not.
Right.
So you'll figure it out in time, I guess.
Yeah. Yes. I remember that meeting and I just was like, man, their eyes were kind. Their eyes were loving. I wrote it in my journal. I looked back at it last night just to remember, and it was a beautiful God moment.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna pause real fast before you speak because I think our audience needs to hear this because this is cool. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you were a God thing coming here because I think I can say this. Yes. You guys were really broken.
Yes.
Your interview was really rough. You cried through much of your initial interview.
I cried through half of my interview, and I really thought for sure I was not going to get chosen because Pastor Ken went into counselor mode, and he knew that I was broken. And even Pastor Tina and I had lunch last week, and she was like, all I could see was shattered. Like you were a shattered person. But I knew in that moment, and I said it in the interview, that I knew the Lord was going to take that brokenness and he was going to make something beautiful out of it, but I just didn't understand how he was going to do it. And what was cool was the Lord was saying, trust again, believe again. And I was very, very timid. I was very, very shy.
Well, the part of it for me that was just funny is because this has only happened a few times in our church. This is not normal for anybody watching this. But they record, sometimes when they do the initial interviews in our church, they'll record them for me, or at least they did back then. I don't know if they do it so much now, but they would record them so I could listen to them. Mm-hmm. And so to be honest, I mean, Ken brought it and he's like, yeah, she's probably not the one, and but he gives me the recording, and within maybe 30, 60 seconds of the recording, you start crying, and immediately the Holy Spirit was like, she's the one.
Wow.
And so there was really, we already knew we were hiring you. And whatever God was going to do, God was going to do. And so I just think it's a beautiful God story, how God put that together.
For sure.
Because we probably wouldn't have had not He clearly spoken. And that's beautiful. So.
For sure. And really, I was like, Lord, you have to walk me through this process. It was an hour and 40 minutes. That interview was an hour and 40 minutes and felt like 3 days. Because I was like, who are these people? And I don't think I can do another church position. But at the same time, I knew that the Lord had taken the shame away and the Lord had healed me like just enough to put me back into ministry. Yeah. And I hungered community and I hungered ministering to people again. Yeah. Like I totally mourned it and missed it. Mm-hmm. And I knew that was my calling and my gifting, and I had to operate in that.
Right. So good.
So thank you for being obedient. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't saying it for me. I just think our church needs to hear the story.
No, but for real.
It's beautiful.
Like we didn't know each other at all.
Spirit-driven church, right? Yeah. All right. So then years later, now Jeff, you end up on staff.
Yep. And so I got to the point where the Lord had done a lot of healing in my life, and I was volunteering a lot, and I heard the Lord distinctly say that it was my time to come on staff. And we had been building a relationship together, and then again with Pastor Ken, I spent a lot of time with Pastor Ken in particular. And there was a position that came open, and one of the things that I prayed specifically was that I want Dr. Brent to know that he knows, so that I'm the right guy. And one of the things that I was told was that you said Jeff is the one I want for this, and that we didn't need to interview him, and because you were sold on it beforehand. And that was one of the things that kind of spoke really highly to me, that Lord answered that prayer.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's really awesome. There's probably more we could talk about.
There's a lot more.
There's so much more.
Yeah. But I want everybody to hear this, because there's so much of a talk of church hurt nowadays, and everybody's like church hurt. And my experience has been a lot of what's called church hurt is actually just church discipline, or somebody telling somebody they're wrong sometimes.
Right.
And I just want our audience to hear this. There is nobody in any church that's more church hurt than the pastors.
Yeah.
And they may not show it. You may not see it from the stage. We might not talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
There was nobody more church hurt than Jesus. He was
Right.
literally crucified for the church, right?
Right.
No more church hurt than Paul,
Right.
who has all these things just constantly being persecuted and beaten and flogged and stoned, and all these things happening to Paul, the shipwrecks, all this for the church. And I don't think that's ever changed. I think the church pastors still to this day are the ones who are the most church hurt.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it can be a little frustrating as a pastor when people come up, I'm church hurt, and you're like, yeah, but you haven't been through nearly
Right.
what we've been through.
Right? The rejection.
And yet
the
we're still here.
betrayal.
We're still here. You know?
Yes, exactly.
My brother one time said that, the enemy going after a pastor is like the potential of knocking out a general in an army.
Right.
You take out a head,
Yeah.
and you can take out a lot of other people in
Yeah.
the process.
Yeah.
And I think many times you go back to Peter's words and you just say, where else can we go, Lord? You have the words of eternal life. And
Right.
and that's how I feel too with ministry and following Jesus. Like, where else can we go? Everything else is empty.
Yeah.
Everything is lost.
Right.
But you have the words
Yeah.
that like sustain us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it stinks and it's hard and like it's rough at times. But in the end, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It is worth it.
Yeah, I don't know this statistic
I'm
off the
getting
top of my
emotional.
head, but I think it's telling, and I think there's something about it that's beautiful. And it's, again, I'm butchering the statistic, but it's something like 70% of pastors seriously consider quitting every
Yes.
year. But it's like 1% do.
Yeah.
And it's that same thing
Yes.
you're saying. It's hard, it's difficult, you want to quit sometimes, but yet it's that call, that unction that we already discussed that keeps us moving forward with it.
There's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this one? So, you 4 years, how long have you been on staff?
A little over a
A
year.
little over a year now. Okay.
Little over a year, yep.
What's the best part of working at Arise Church? What do you guys like most about working here?
I love the fact that while I have responsibilities, so you guys do an amazing job at recognizing what our skills are, our talents are, and what our calling is. And so we build job descriptions around
Right.
that.
Yeah,
So
that's
around
really cool.
talent and calling. And although, there is a job description and I have responsibilities, I get to do what I was built to do
Right.
and what God has trained me to do for decades now. And so that's a lot of fun for me.
I mean, he's pretty handy. He built the rock wall in the kids area and put up black lights in the kids area. So there's a lot of things that he does, not just ministry, but
Right.
also handiwork type things.
Yeah.
So that's what's really cool. And for me, I love the community. One of the things I journaled before I got this job was, Lord, I want a church that's smaller and that there's community. There's relationships, there's connections. And the Lord was like, I know exactly what church to send you to. And he brought me here. And I love the relationships and the community that we have here.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful, so beautiful. Well, we are really glad you guys are here. All right, one last question, just kind of telling about who you are, right? If you could sit down with people in our church, just say you're sitting down with somebody and you just want them to know your heart, like who you are, you're having coffee with them, you're hanging out. Who are you? What do you want them to know about you before that coffee is over?
It's such a great question. What are we drinking? I'm just kidding.
Let's start there. What's your coffee? What are you drinking?
I like chai.
Okay,
I'm all
okay.
about chai or tea. I'm all about black tea, going back to the Europe
Yeah,
vacation
yeah.
thing. So yeah, I'm all about that.
I agree with that one.
Right? Yeah. But also just that I love Jesus. I fell in love with Jesus at a very young age, and I'm still deeply in love with him. And he can meet you exactly where you're at. He has a way of tangibly showing himself to you if you allow himself in to
Yeah.
do that, and if you give him space and margin to do that. I think many times we're like, he's far off, and I'm like, no, he's a very intimate God. And there's times where I just want to shake people and say, just quiet everything down and take a walk with Jesus, and he will show himself to you. In Bible college, he literally gave me flowers. I was walking and I said, Lord, I wish I had a boyfriend. I wish I was in love, all this stuff, And the Lord was like, I'll give you flowers. And he said, look down. And there was flowers in the field, and he gave them to me, and I was forever marked by that. And the thing is that he loves us passionately, and he'll meet us right where we're at.
Try living up to Jesus being her best boyfriend.
Right.
No pressure.
No pressure at all.
You're doing great, sweetie.
I think for me, this is kind of funny, but my face does not match my mood most of the time. So I have one of those resting face that looks super serious.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be off-putting for people. And I would just say, I love talking about God. I love talking about the Word. And I love talking to people. So, but I think sometimes I can be off-putting by my face. I'm really not busy. I'm not upset. So,
If you're happy and you know it,
show your face. Yeah, that's what I have to tell myself that.
That's funny. That's funny. That's so good. All right. Well, I don't have any more questions. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we wrap up?
I think we're good.
Okay.
fun.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Like I said, all summer we're kind of doing a summer stories kind of thing. Getting to know all of our pastors here at Arise. How did they end up here? How did they get saved? Same kind of things you heard today. Maybe a little different questions, but the same kind of things that you heard today. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Make sure that you send our pastors an email or something. Let them know that they enjoyed it. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe. We always love your comments. We'd love to know your favorite quote or your favorite thing from this show today. So make sure that you do that, and we'll make sure that we are checking back on you in that order. So, all right, God bless you. Look forward to seeing you again next week.